I needed help, and I didn't know where else to go. I kicked my husband, Gareth, 44, male, out of our house today. I found that he had been secretly helping his friend's daughter with her startup instead of collecting money for our daughter's college fund. Our daughter Ella, 17, female, recently came to us all excited about how her teachers told her that she has great prospects and would get into good universities. She knows that she wouldn't qualify for aid or scholarships because of our family income, so she wanted to discuss how to pay for her college. I happily assured her that her father has been looking after that and collecting money for her college fund. He has also recently begun requesting money from his trust fund so that he could build up a nice college fund and hand it over to Ella when she turns 18. Ella is a responsible kid and very intelligent, so we knew this would be the right decision. I informed Ella of these things because I didn't want her to worry about how she would pay for her college. The problem was that my husband was dead silent while Ella and I were talking. When I noticed this, I looked over to him and found him avoiding eye contact with me. After Ella went to her room, I asked him if something was wrong. Gareth probably knew by then that lying would be useless, so he broke and told me that there was no college fund for Ella. All the money he had put aside for Ella was already given to Caitlin, 19, female, who happened to be his friend Samantha's, 44, female, daughter. He also said that the funds he had withdrawn from his trust to set up Ella's college fund were also given to Caitlin because she needed some urgent purchases for her business. Basically, there was nothing left for Ella. I pressured Gareth some more and threatened to leave him if he didn't show me his bank statements. He showed me all the records, and what I found absolutely blew my mind. Gareth was spending most of his savings and our daughter's college fund on funding Caitlin and her mom's life. The expenses go way back to the time Caitlin's father died. I think I should give you some background about Samantha and Caitlin before I tell you more. Samantha has been Gareth's childhood friend. They were thick as thieves, and Gareth called her his best friend. We had a lot of problems with this friendship when I started dating Gareth. He would literally drop everything if she needed help and would act all weird around her all the time. Samantha and I weren't close since she wasn't that interested in getting to know me. I always thought that their friendship was inappropriate, but Gareth would disagree. Things got better for us when Samantha started dating her late husband and got busy with her own life. Yes, late husband because he passed away when Caitlin was 11. Ever since then, Gareth had stepped up and sort of helped Samantha and her daughter out whenever possible. It started with small things that I was aware of. They were closed, and I felt bad for Samantha because she didn't have much and was having a hard time raising Caitlin. My own daughter was 9 back then, so I understood her struggles. However, as time passed, Gareth became more and more enmeshed with Samantha and her family. It started affecting our home life because he would spend a lot of time and money on the two of them. We had several fights about this, especially when he would miss Ella's events and milestones because of Samantha or Caitlin. I also didn't like how much he was helping them out. But Gareth would get defensive and say that they need help and he can't abandon them in their tough times. He would also accuse me of being cold and heartless, call me mad, but I put up with this for years. Gareth eventually controlled the time and money he spent on Samantha, but I was clearly wrong about that. The bank statements proved it. He has been spending far too much money on Samantha and Caitlin. I was beyond mad when I discovered all this. I immediately told Gareth that he needed to tell Ella what he had done because I wasn't going to cover for him. Gareth and I had a big argument because he didn't want to be the bad guy and break Ella's heart. I was so mad at him that I told Ella what he did. Ella was, of course, heartbroken and told his father that she wanted nothing to do with him. I also told Gareth that he needed to get the money back or else there would be consequences. Gareth, of course, did nothing and instead kept calling me names for depriving a poor fatherless girl her dream. I got so mad after a few days that I decided to meet with my mother-in-law, Rachel, 65, female. When I told my mother-in-law what Gareth did, she was just as angry as me. In fact, she looked even angrier than I did. Rachel is actually the one who has full control of Gareth's inheritance or his trust fund. Gareth's father left an iron-tight will to make sure that Rachel was protected in case Gareth decided to abandon his mother and cut her off. Rachel has been a housewife her whole life, so she was given the majority of the inheritance. As for Gareth, he received a small part of the money after his father passed, while the other part was controlled by Rachel, and the money is given out only when Gareth provides a valid reason for wanting the funds. So, a major part of Gareth's inheritance is still under Rachel's control. In the past, Gareth had tried to get lawyers involved to see if anything could be done to bypass Rachel, but every lawyer told him that it wouldn't be possible. What's worse is that the house we live in also belonged to Rachel since it was her and my late father-in-law's joint property. Gareth had a past where he hadn't been very respectful of money, so his father took extra precautions while making his will. Just so you know, whatever bad financial decisions Gareth made were before we met. So I didn't know for sure what happened. I got to know the truth of the matter when I told Rachel what Gareth had been doing. Apparently, Gareth had a college fund that was transferred to him after he had turned 18. Gareth decided to use that money to pay for Rachel's car and rent for 6 months. No one knew about this until it was time to pay for the next semester, and the money had magically disappeared. Gareth had tried lying his way out, but his father wasn't that stupid. He demanded to see bank statements as proof, or else he wasn't going to help Gareth, and he would have to drop out. My husband didn't have any other option, so he came clean and even showed his bank statements. And since then, Rachel and my father-in-law had been trying their best to manage Gareth's bad financial decisions. To his credit, he was doing well until Samantha came crying for help. I can't believe just how far he had gone for this woman. I always suspected that their friendship was inappropriate, but nothing had prepared me for this. Rachel actually apologized for not telling me all this before. She said that she and her husband had thought he wasn't that close to Samantha anymore after her marriage, so all was well. She also said that they loved me and knew Gareth wouldn't find someone better. She looked really remorseful and I felt bad for her. I told her that this wasn't her fault and it was actually my fault because I went into this mess with eyes wide open. I know that even if Rachel had told me the truth, I would have married Gareth because in my mind, Samantha and Gareth were over. I'm internally cringing while I write this. I sound pathetic, don't I? I'm pretty sure a lot of people will call me a doormat, a fool, and a delusional woman. I won't even ask you to be mindful because I don't think I deserve that grace. I ruined my own life, and what's worse is that I brought a child into this mix and ruined her life too. I'm paying for that now. But Gareth is also paying for his actions too, although he isn't happy about it at all. As soon as Rachel heard about what Gareth was doing, she immediately had a sense of deja vu. She said that she would be blocking Gareth's access to money, and he won't be getting another penny for it. And since I had proof that he had been using his trust fund for the wrong reasons, he won't be getting access to the rest of the money, and it will all go to my daughter instead. In fact, Gareth may be required to pay back what he spent on Caitlin because he had acted fraudulently. Rachel is mad enough to take him to court over this, but she is holding back on what I would decide. I told her that I needed time. I went back home and confronted Gareth about what I found out. about him from Rachel. Instead of being remorseful, he went crazy and started yelling at me for going tattling to his mother. We had a huge fight, after which I ended up kicking him out of the house. At first, Gareth was acting stubborn and kept saying that this was his house too and he wasn't leaving. And when I threatened to call Rachel again, he relented and left. I don't know where he went because Rachel for sure didn't take him in. I did get angry and told him to go stay with his friend, aka Samantha, so maybe that's where he is. He has been texting me and calling me unreasonable and a witch for going behind his back and tattling to his mother. I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle back. I have been ignoring his messages and haven't replied to any of them yet. As for what to do, I am still very unsure. Divorce is the best solution and probably the only solution, but it's hard to break up a marriage of over 20 years just like this. That's what Gareth has been saying as well. Even after all this, I love this man. Yes, I am that delusional, and I know I need help. I know that I should leave, especially since Gareth won't even care for his own daughter anymore. My poor child has been holed up in her room since I told him what Gareth had done. I wish I had the kind of funds needed to send her to college. I know that Rachel will find a way, but I still feel like I failed her. You know what the most horrible and pathetic part is? Ella and I both loved Gareth a lot. Ella has always considered herself to be a daddy's girl. That doesn't mean she's spoiled and a brat. She actually never had trouble sharing his love and attention with Caitlin. Ella only started feeling bad when Gareth started to prioritize Caitlin over me. The college fund was the last straw for her. I have been wanting to speak to her, but to be frank, I'm a little ashamed of how I let things get this far. I know that I am an adult. So I just should put on my big girl pants and just talk to her. If I really do leave Gareth, I need to sit Ella down and tell her. We already have a pending conversation because we need to discuss why I kicked out her father today. She may not be an adult yet, but I think she's old enough to know what's going on. So I am going to have a chat with her. If anyone here has any advice on how to proceed and what more I can do, please let me know. I'm willing to hear whatever advice you guys have. I have been going crazy with everything that's happening, so I would really like to have some help from someone. I haven't even told my friends and family about this. I am truly ashamed and disappointed in myself. So please, guys, if any of you, please help me with some advice or what to do now. Edit. Sorry for not replying to all the comments, guys. I didn't mention in the post that I am actually a working woman. I've been busy with work and managing the house, so I didn't have time to reply to everyone. I know you guys have questions and stuff, so I will try to answer them here all at once. You guys keep asking if there's a possibility that Samantha's daughter is actually Gareth's child. Well, the answer is no. Caitlin isn't Gareth's daughter. She's a carbon copy of her late father, who was of a different ethnicity than us. If you really want the specifics, we are all Caucasian, while her father was Hispanic. There's no doubt that Caitlin is her late father's child. Gareth has always claimed that he had been helping Caitlin and her mother out because he felt sad for them. He also says that Samantha has always been a good friend of his, so he feels like it's his responsibility to help her out since he has the money. I don't know why he thinks he has money because he doesn't. You just don't deprive your own child of a college education to fund someone else's business. Also, some of you made some gross comments about how I must be jealous of Samantha and Caitlin. Are you really suggesting that I'm jealous of a child? I have nothing against Caitlin. I will admit that I am jealous of Samantha because she literally gets to have a half husband while me and my family have to sacrifice for her benefit. It makes me mad that she never tried to stop Gareth from spending so much money on her. Then again, who would reject free money? Samantha didn't have to worry about a thing because she knew Gareth would take care of everything if she simply had a frown on her face. I am not ashamed to admit that I am jealous of her. That woman has been a thorn in my side for years now. Speaking of which, I have to address why I never left Gareth over all this. Well, you guys are right in telling me that I should have fled when I first started seeing how close Gareth was to Samantha. Gareth can gaslight really well. I wasn't familiar with the concept of gaslighting back then, but I understand it now. Gareth would also make constant comparisons of how I also had guy friends I was close to. FYI, I didn't have this kind of relationship with anyone. Gareth simply countered that by saying that he just treated his friends differently. It wasn't like he was neglectful of me back then. He was sweet and caring, and I had found it impressive that he balanced all aspects of his life as well. I was a freaking fool, and I see it now. I probably wouldn't have married him if Samantha hadn't gone and hitched up with someone else. As soon as Samantha started dating her late husband, she became a little distant from Gareth. Gareth used this opportunity to shower me with love and attention. I truly believed that the problem would finally be over. I was too dumb to see that Gareth was also the problem here. God, he even proposed to me just after Samantha and her husband got married. I said yes, because I thought that the Samantha chapter was over. Samantha's husband clearly didn't like Gareth, and that made her spend less time and attention on Gareth. Gareth used to complain, but slowly stopped doing that too. All of this nonsense just started back up after Samantha's husband died. By then, we already had a 10-year-old child, so I couldn't just up and leave. I don't want to have my child grow up in a broken home, so I made the tough decision to stay and try to make things work. Obviously, I wasn't successful in that because my husband would rather care for Caitlin than his own daughter. Update 1. Thank you so much for commenting on my last post and giving it so much attention. I got a lot of mixed comments. Some were meant to be helpful, while others were just making fun of me for being a doormat. I appreciate all the comments because I really needed this realization and I needed someone to show me some tough love. I haven't been very close to my own family because of their abusive behavior, and I thought that I had improved my self-confidence and self-worth after distancing myself from them. I can see now that I just fell into another toxic relationship and marriage. My family has never been nice to me, so I didn't have any backup from that side. I do have good friends who have tried to talk sense into me in the past. However, everyone's busy in their own lives, and I know no one would put their life on hold to give me the help I needed. I wouldn't have asked them to, unlike someone I know. I built my whole life around Gareth, and I got even more tied down to him when Ella was born. Things haven't been bad all this time. We had a lot of good times. Maybe that made me delusional enough to think that me and our child finally matter to Gareth, and we were his priority. I should have left when I started to realize that Gareth was becoming Caitlin's second father and Samantha's second husband. Most of you think that they have been sleeping together. I think so too. I have been in denial for so long that I'm tired of pretending now. I'm sure that Gareth has been cheating on me with Samantha. Caitlin may not be his child, but he sees her as his child in all senses of the word. I'm pretty sure he's staying with Samantha and Caitlin now. I did ask him straight up last night and he didn't reply to my text. He just continued to tell me that I was in the wrong for denying Caitlin love and care and punishing him for helping out someone. He even had the audacity to say that I had turned his daughter and mother against him. I don't know if Rachel has actually reached out to Gareth. She had promised that she wouldn't take any steps before I made a decision. And then again, Gareth probably knows that his crap won't fly with his mother, and she will be pissed at him. Maybe that's why he's blaming me for everything, so that I will scramble to fix things for him. Too bad that I already made the decision to leave him. I am years late, but it's better late than never, right? Thank you so much for helping me with the final push. I really needed it. I have already sat Ella down and explained to her what I had decided. She cried a little and asked if she was the reason we were getting a divorce. It took me a long time to make her understand that the divorce is happening because of her stupid father. I asked her if she had talked to Gareth. She said that he was texting, but she hasn't replied. She won't tell me what he's been telling her, though. I am going to keep a close eye on Ella to make sure her stupid father doesn't manipulate her like he manipulated me all those years ago. I have already failed my daughter, but this ends here. I have a long road ahead of me now. I need to start making preparations as soon as possible. I just wanted to inform you guys about my decision because you've been so helpful in helping me make it. So again, thank you so much, guys. Update 2. I actually didn't think I would be making an update, but I have been getting comments and DMs asking me how things are. So many of you are concerned for me and my daughter. I never thought that literal strangers would care about me and my daughter more than my own husband. I guess that's just my bad luck and a consequence of my horrible decisions. I do have an update on the situation since a lot of new things have happened. After my last update, I informed Rachel of my decision. Rachel supported me wholeheartedly and told me that no matter what, I am still her family. That really made me tear up because I knew my own family wouldn't be supportive of me. I went to a lawyer immediately after speaking with Rachel. I know that I am only entitled to half our joint savings and half of whatever assets he owns. I won't be opting for child support because Ella will turn 18 before the divorce comes through. I have no interest in begging him for money anymore. If he wants to pay, he can, or else I will take care of Ella on my own. Rachel has already told me that she would let us stay at the house for free, and Gareth won't have any privileges to it. I've already called the locksmith to change the locks because I don't want him to have free access to the house. God forbid he decides to bring Samantha and Caitlin over and demand that we share. Anything is possible when it comes to Gareth. Anyway, speaking of the devil, I get a very interesting call from Gareth a few days ago. He did a complete 180 and started begging me to forgive him. He said that he made a huge mistake and he would do anything to win us back. I knew that the call didn't come out of love. I knew Rachel had threatened to take him to court if he didn't return the money he took from the fund. I also know that she has told him how Ella will now have the entirety of his trust fund. Rachel has already met up with Ella and assured her that she wouldn't have to worry about college at all, and there'll be plenty left over for a house, wedding, or whatever. I knew that Rachel had already informed Gareth of all this, so he was now trying to get us back. I laughed and told him that he needed to give me his present address so that I could have him served with the divorce papers. Gareth was absolutely shocked and started to beg me not to do this. In his words, this was a mistake and it was easily fixable. Then there was the same line about how we just can't throw away more than 20 years together. I listened to him rant and didn't say much for a few minutes. Gareth was getting more and more desperate when he didn't get an answer from me. He made all kinds of promises, but I wasn't stupid enough to believe him. I already had enough. I told him he can continue being with Samantha since he is clearly with her right now, and since I don't have her exact address, I would just have him served at that office. Part of it was a lie. I knew exactly where Samantha lived. I just realized it would be much more fun having him served in front of his colleagues. So that's what I did. Gareth tried to come by the house that night and kept sending me texts when he realized that I had changed the locks. He demanded to know why I wouldn't let him in, and I told him to go ask his mother. That shut him up good. He's been trying to guilt trip Ella into convincing me and Rachel to forgive him. But Ella has surprisingly told his father off in classic teenage fashion. She's usually very soft spoken, so seeing this side of her has been refreshing. I'm happy that she isn't a forgiving doormat like me. I did tell her that I was proud of how she handled this. I also took all your advice and decided to put both me and my daughter in therapy. Hopefully, it's going to make things better for us. I still have a long road ahead of me, but at least I have my daughter and Rachel's support. I think we will be fine after all. Update 3. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I posted the previous update. I can't believe I'm still getting messages asking for an update. I figured that no one would want to know about the divorce and what happened later. Anyway, since you are really concerned and interested, here is the final update for you. The divorce is actually still ongoing, but it will be finalized in a week or so. Gareth tried to make it stop, but I held firm. He has lost a lot in the divorce and probably more than you can imagine. Things have been really bad in his life, and I can't bring myself to feel pity for him. Let's start with his assets and the divorce itself. He's going to lose a lot. I'm taking away essentially 80% of everything he has. This estimate is based on the fact that he has to pay back the money he withdrew from the trust fund under the guise of using it for Ella's college fund. We settled with Rachel's lawyers and ours. The trust fund is now all set to be for Ella's use, and she is the one who can request money from it. Rachel will still control the strings, though. There is no bypassing that, and we don't really want to. Gareth had some properties and assets that he has to share with me now. I already have half of his savings. Everything else will be finalized and handed over after the final papers are signed. Gareth and his lawyer tried to do everything possible not to give me too much, but Rachel helped me get a better lawyer who was able to draw up a nice deal for me. Again, I don't pity him and have no regrets. I'm sure that he does have regrets because he has lost more than his assets in the divorce. Remember how I had him served at his office? Now everyone knows what he did. I didn't spread any rumors, but people didn't take long to connect the dots. Apparently, he talks about Samantha and Caitlin a lot. Speaking of them, Caitlin has actually reached out to Ella to ask about what was going on. She didn't understand why Gareth was suddenly staying with them and not going back home. Something didn't sit right with her, so she texted my daughter to know what happened. My daughter was already mad, so she didn't hold back and told her everything. Ella says that Caitlin was horrified at what she learned. She later sent her an apology and told her that she didn't know Gareth had used her college fund for her business, and she had actually never asked him for money. He had offered her money by himself. I don't know the exact details of what happened next, but basically, Caitlin found out that Gareth had cheated on me with her mother. She has since threatened to go no contact with her mother if she doesn't stop being with Gareth. Samantha, of course, chose Caitlin and booted Gareth out of her life. It's very clear to me that Gareth always held a candle for Samantha, hoping to get whatever scraps of affection she gave him. He had a hard reality check when Samantha cut contact with him. He tried weaseling his way back into my life, but I held firm and ignored him. Last time I saw him, he looked miserable as hell. I don't really care. Ella never asks for him or talks to him either. He has essentially lost everyone and everything. I hope he learns his lesson from this. I am just glad that I got out of the marriage where I was constantly disrespected. I'm doing much better, and so is Ella, because of all the therapy. I hope you'll pray for us so that we can start our lives afresh and have better things in our future. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.